Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel Gabbabetic, and welcome to today's video. If you've watched my channel before, you'll know that as well as being type 1 diabetic, I'm also celiac, and I was diagnosed with celiac disease about a year after my diabetes diagnosis, so around 2009. If you are celiac or gluten intolerant yourself, you will know that gluten-free food has always been really expensive, and even more so in the last few years with the cost of living crisis. I feel like this is unanimous in any country. It just seems that the gluten-free food costs way more than the same variant of a non-gluten-free food. For example, bread. Gluten-free bread could be nearly €5 here, and a normal bread like €1-2. But did you know that you can actually claim back tax relief on gluten-free food in Ireland if you're celiac? So that's what this video is going to be talking about today. Obviously, this video will be very helpful to celiacs who are living in Ireland who want to claim back on their gluten-free foods, but I think it'll be also interesting to other people and other celiacs around the world to see what we have here in Ireland and see maybe if it benefits you in the future or if there's something similar in your own country. So I'm going to be getting money back for being celiac today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please give it a big thumbs up, comment down below and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and do let me know what systems are set up in other countries or if there are even any systems while you watch the video. Thanks so much for watching, and let's get started. How do I get money back on gluten-free food? So first of all, I have to be paying tax in Ireland, which I do work full-time. I am a resident in Ireland. I was born here, so I do all of that. So I'm able to get a special type of tax credit, which is called a health tax credit. The website in Ireland is called revenue.ie, and you have to have an account set up on Revenue. And if you have a full-time job in Ireland, it will already have your job registered, your normal tax credits, everything will be there. So you want to check that you're all set up before you start claiming any health expenses. Now, there are lots of different types of health expenses that you can claim in Ireland. So if we just have a quick look on Revenue and we go down and we look at what are the qualifying expenses, you'll see lots of different things listed, but then we come down to the very end and it has special diets for diabetics and celiacs. So that means we're able to claim back on our gluten-free food. And it's important to remember that you can only claim for the last 4 years. So if I'm doing this in 2024, I can claim everything from 2020 onwards, but I can't go back any earlier than that. Now, you will notice that I'm talking about celiac in this, but on that Revenue page, it did say for diabetics as well. But I'm not like prescribed any special diabetic food. I don't think that you should get that sugar-free diabetic food. That's a whole different video. Maybe if I was getting that, I'd be claiming that back too. But for today, we're just going to focus on celiac. But yes, it does mention that diabetics can claim back on diabetic-related food as well. So that's just the start. That's the website we use, Revenue. And I'm going to go and claim on this video now. So you're going to see all that. We'll walk through that in the next part if you're interested in that. But first, I just want to talk about, first of all, how much money you can get back. And secondly, the limitations as to what you can claim for. So how much we're allowed to get back? We're allowed to get back 20% of the total cost of the gluten-free food for that year. So say, for example, if I only spent €100 on gluten-free food in 2023, I'll only actually get 20% of that back. So I'm only ever going to get €20. You're never going to get the full amount, even though gluten-free food is really more expensive than the non-gluten-free food. It's 20% what's allowed. I'll take that because, you know, in other countries, maybe you don't get to do this. So I will gladly get 20% back of what I've spent, which is a lot during the year on gluten-free food. So yeah, it's just 20% in Ireland. Now, this is the most important part that I want to talk about. You'll see on the Revenue website, it says that you can only claim back on foods that are specifically manufactured to be gluten-free. Now, I watched a whole video on this from Celiac Ireland, and there's a lot of confusion about this point. So let me clarify it. So a food that is specifically manufactured to be gluten-free will either say gluten-free on the receipt or gluten-free on the packet itself. And they're the two types that you can claim back for. For example, this one from Lidl, gluten-free bagels. I can claim on that because the receipt says gluten-free bagels, and most likely the packet says gluten-free as well. And also, if there was something, I think I have something on this receipt that doesn't say gluten-free on the receipt but says gluten-free on the packet. For example, you'll see these pop chips are $2.49. I can claim back for them because they do say gluten-free on the packet. In summary, your food either has to say gluten-free on the receipt or it has to say gluten-free on the packet itself. And if none of this is true, you can't claim on that food. So the best example would be something that's naturally gluten-free, like a bunch of bananas. You can't claim back on those bananas because they're just naturally gluten-free. They're not specifically manufactured to be gluten-free. And even though they are gluten-free, you can't claim them back on a celiac diet because they're just a naturally gluten-free food. They're not a specifically made gluten-free food. That part gets confusing for people. So I just look at it two ways. If my product has gluten-free written on it, or if it says gluten-free on the receipt, then I can claim it back. So yeah, when I've been shopping throughout last year, 2023, because remember I'm claiming in 2024 for the last year, I have collected a lot of receipts. Let me show you. So this whole shoebox is full of receipts. I don't want to take them out, but like they are squished in here, like all the way to the bottom. That's, oh, it keeps going, like one whole year's worth of food. And the reason I'm keeping them all in a shoebox is so at the end of the year I can go in and add them up. Now we're going to do that now, which will take a long time, but once you have them all, you can keep them safe. And what I do on each receipt as I get it at the time is I highlight what's gluten-free. So then when I come and look through my box later on in the year, I can just add up the gluten-free things and I don't have to go through each receipt. And very important to note is that you can be audited. So I think you have to keep all of your receipts for 6 years. So these are for 2023. So I have to keep these until 2029. And at any point, the auditors from revenue can come and ask to see your receipt. So to begin the process, we've collected our receipts for the year. We logged into revenue and we have our tax credits for our normal job up there and everything is correct. So we're going to go ahead and add ourselves a health tax credit. But before we do, one of the prerequisites is that you have to have already said that you're celiac and you have to have proof of this. So I have gone and uploaded a letter that said I was diagnosed with celiac disease. Now, I haven't gotten any response back to say whether it was accepted or not. It's really weird because you just send this letter off in like an attachment and then it just says, but it's like a query. So it's like you're asking for something, but I'm not asking for anything. I'm just showing a letter to say I'm celiac. The letter was also from 2012. So I'm hoping it will be fine because on it, it says that I'm celiac and that it's a lifelong condition and I'm also diabetic. So like, I feel like how can they challenge that and say like you need a more up-to-date letter when that doesn't change? So I've done that now. So that is one of the prerequisites, is that you can't just go ahead and do this without actually being celiac. You have to prove that you are and you have to give them a doctor's letter, which is fine because if you are celiac, you'll have no problem doing that. Guys, so it's time to get counting gluten-free receipts. Oh, everything's falling. I'm dropping them as well. So I literally just want to get them all and throw them all around the room. But yeah, maybe I'll just do a little quick flick through here. So you're going to be seeing, well, you're not going to be seeing me. What you're going to be seeing is nothing and then clipping to the next part. And I'm going to be going through all of these receipts.
A lot of boring math later.
Okay, so the grand total of what I spent on gluten-free food during the year. So this is the total amount. And then what I get back will be like 20% of this. So I spent the small one down the end, 1,817.75. Sorry, I did have the big number and then I found more. 1,817. So that is a lot of money to spend on gluten-free food. So that is purely just gluten-free things. Obviously the cost of my food for the year last year was way more than that. So you can see how much food costs in Ireland. It costs a lot of money. Gluten-free food especially. So now we're going to go log on. We're going to enter that total amount, the 1,817.75, onto revenue. We're going to input it and see what happens. So I've inputted the total now. It's there and it's ready to go. I don't know how long it will take for me to get back 20%. So 20% of 1,800 is about 360, which like I spent 1,800. Getting back 360 isn't sounding like a lot out of the 1,800, but it's still something. Like I could literally book a holiday with that. Like that's really good. Or I could spend that on gluten-free food if I wanted to. But yeah, it could be a while before I get it back. If by the time I'm editing this video, I have gotten it back, I'll let you know. But otherwise, I'll go back to the comments and I'll update you. But that is the process of how to claim back on gluten-free food in Ireland. And I think it's good to just get a little bit of money back because you're spending clearly so much on gluten-free food. Like the cost is through the roof. They really do overcharge you on the gluten-free. So that's my video. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And also let me know if there's anything similar in your country or if you get something better, because I'd really like to know. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please give it a big thumbs up, comment down below and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And if you have any questions about the whole thing, let me know in the comments and I'll see you all in the next video.